Put them on.
Put them on.
Put them on. Hey, hey.
Oh, we got music. I'm on
You know what's going on? Yeah.
All right, hold on. Oh, they already in there taking pictures.
Does it go through?
Huh?
If I'm
Yeah,
talking from here?
pull it up. It's your mic.
Yeah.
Oh.
You want to be about an inch away.
Okay, we don't need it that close, though, do we?
Yep.
You need to
Huh?
get up like this.
And if you need to cough, you know, just you can turn.
5 seconds. We're about
Yep.
to go.
So like this.
They got the wrong two on the same side.
I know.
Turn it sideways.
Hello, job seekers. My name is Trevor Houston. I'm here in the studio today with Mark Elder and the founder of Frisco Connect, your very own Foster Williams. Good afternoon, guys.
Good afternoon.
Hey, how's it going?
Finally afternoon.
Right. Also joining us today is our guest speaker, Jane Ryan with Jane Ryan and Associates LLC. Jane, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
So it is our first show, January 31st. We're kicking this thing off, and this is going to be fun.
Version number 1.
Yep.
Yep.
It's going to be educational.
And a train wreck.
Yep.
We're already off the rails.
Yeah. This is going to be exciting. So, well, before we get started, I'd like to kind of kick things off and say a quick prayer over our listeners. So, is that okay with you guys?
Absolutely.
All right,
do it.
cool. Well, dear Lord, your word says where two or more gather in your name, you are here with us. So we come before you today and ask that you bless our listeners and let them feel encouraged that they're not alone. I know that the job search can be extremely stressful. It can be tough. It can be hard. But you have a specific purpose and calling for our lives. Lord, I pray that you use this show to create divine relationships and connections that can actually help people find their way. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen.
All
right, guys, so let's get started here and tell the listeners a little bit about the vision for the show and what we're trying to accomplish here with the Who You Know Job Networking Show. Foster, tell us a little bit about what you want to accomplish here.
Well, what we want this show to accomplish is basically the same thing that we do at the network. There are tons of people who get laid off out there, don't know what to do, don't know where to go. It's like, oh, my goodness, I've been working at this company 30 years, and all of a sudden I'm out of a job. Well, what is out there for me? What information do I need to know in order to connect with the right people, places, things, companies? And when I connect with them, what do I do when I connect with them? And find that next best opportunity that God has for me out there. And along the way, we get very, very resourceful along the way. You learn about a lot of things you didn't know about before, and then when you go in your next job, you got a lot more places to go and people to connect with to help you do your job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I found the network that's out here is huge. So it's a lot of different resources out there that help job seekers. And so, Mark, tell us, what are your thoughts for the show? Kind of how did you get started here? And tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. Well, what we had done is started networking, and part of what we do is network in the community and try and find ways that we can give back. And we ended up at Frisco Connect and listened to people's stories about what they were going through and how they're having to go about get their jobs in this day and age. And it really became apparent again, the Who You Know piece. And so that's what resonated with me, and being a professional networker and networking by my day job, really it was just a natural fit for us to say, hey, is there a way that we can give back and make an impact in the community? And that's what that I'm passionate about is, we've been very blessed, both you, Trevor, and I, and all of us really, quite frankly, have been very blessed. And so it's about giving back and making an impact, being able to lift people up and get them back to work and give them hope. So that's what I'd like the show to embody.
Absolutely. My goal for the show is really to help bring the network to people's fingertips. There's a huge network out there in the DFW area, a lot of resources like Foster and Frisco Connect and all these different groups that are out there. And a lot of times it can be a flood of information, right? And so kind of my goal and what my vision is for this show is I'd like to help bring that convenience to people, bring it to their fingertips, allow them to be able to get those resources, get the information they need to really help them in their search and help them make those connections and network to their next career opportunities. Foster, tell me a little bit about how you got started in this. Talk to us about your story. How did you get started helping job seekers?
I want to say strangest thing, but it wasn't. I've been a recruiter most of my career, all of my career. I don't know if I know how to do anything else, but to recruit. So after a massive brain aneurysm in which I wasn't supposed to live from, my life kind of took a little different turn. And so I noticed a lot of people out there are being laid off. You guys remember 2008? And the whole country turned upside down. Yeah. Companies were going out of business, and they were laying folks off and everything, and all these people were on the market. And it's like, okay, how do I help these folks? I found a group called South Lake Focus Group that at that time wasn't so big. I think it's 35, 40 people. Wow. And people were there around the table helping each other connect with people. Who do you know started? And I fell right into that as much as I talked. And so I got an idea there, and then we created an HR career search network group, an HR focus group, if you will, out of that. And in fact, we just convened meeting this morning. We meet every Wednesday at 9 o'clock in the morning over in South Lake. So we were on to something. It was real popular. And then we started the Fort Worth Career Search Network. There was a church over there that said, hey, this is pretty cool. You guys are helping folks get jobs. And it just kind of, I guess it's proliferate the right word. Mm-hmm. It just
organic growth.
Yeah, virally. It just started growing. And so I said, hey, well then what we should do, the company Search for You that had been created, and we created a network, a website and all that, supports that career search network that had started. So what we do is networking groups that are helping people learn how to land a job, and that kind of thing. I liked it because it was faith-based.
Right.
And so we made a active network out of that, and the searchforyouinc.com is a website that supports all of that activity. Now, 10 years later, 12 years later, all of a sudden, we've got organizations all over the United States. I got my cousin lives in Minnesota, and he lost his job. What does he do? Well, there is a wonderful network up there of groups that he can connect with. Hey, we do the same thing up there as we do down here.
Right.
A little bit different accent.
And the scale of resources here is just huge. So that's another thing is DFW, you don't know how you got it. So it's great here.
Yeah, we're the most saturated of anywhere in the United States. I think that Minnesota area is number 2, I think, according to the U.S. Department of Labor.
All right, guys. Well, it's time for us to keep the lights on in the studio, and we're going to cut to break real quick and hear from our sponsors. When we return, we're going to hear more from Foster and about Career Search Network and Frisco Connect.
Absolutely.
Oh, the Facebook crew, if you're listening live, be sure, if you haven't already, we know you're on Facebook, but if you go to LinkedIn and you're connected with us, we can go to the LinkedIn group page, the Who You Know Job Networking Show, and be sure to join that group. And if you have any questions or ideas, somebody that you know and you think about that you could refer over for some help and some resources, that'd be great. Be sure to tag, like, and comment on there. So join us there.
Yeah, put your comments down below, and we'd love to hear from you.
Maybe you'd want to be a guest on the show one Wednesday. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and if you're in the industry, hiring, HR, looking for help, that's something that we'd love to hear about too. So, yeah.
Awesome. I think we're back. Welcome back to
Not yet.
Oh.
I was just letting y'all talk without the commercials in the background.
Gotcha.
Cool.
I was going to ask, how long do you want the second segment?
20 minutes.
20 minutes? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have about 3 minutes left of commercial, and then
All right.
it'll be back.
All right, cool.
This goes by fast.
It went by real quick. Yeah.
It did.
Yeah, that's awesome. We can get, like on Melissa's show, she had, all those
Oh, yeah, the noise effects.
The noise effects
Yeah.
and sound effects and
Yeah.
all that. Too.
If you look at that iPad that's right there,
Yeah.
that's where that comes from.
Oh, okay.
cool.
All right. We got it.
So, Mark, remember you're going to do the rejoin.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, good. There's our numbers up there.
So I'll just go in the rejoin and do the whole thing and go right into questions.
Yeah.
How was it getting over here?
It was actually pretty good. I was more worried about my old broke down car getting over here than anything.
Okay. Didn't bring the cutlass?
No, didn't bring the cutlass.
Once it starts, you'll see me. I'll like point to you when you're back, so you can like kind of.
Gotcha.
Yeah, right
Man,
on.
that dude's got a
Awesome.
radio voice.
Yeah, he's got a radio voice for sure.
Appreciate that.
You got a radio laugh.
Do I?
Yeah.
Man, my life changes. Ain't no telling. It's situational.
I'm ready for lunch after this.
Oh,
Man,
yeah.
I know. I'm already hungry.
Barbecue.
Hey, could be.
Maybe it's
Got to keep her. She's the one that eats good.
About 40 seconds, and then it's the rejoin.
Yeah.
Tell us your name real quick.
Austin.
Austin. That's Austin. Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Austin.
Okay, Austin.
Appreciate it.
I don't want to say, hey, you.
Hey, you.
Hey,
What?
Oh.
20 seconds.
I got a face for radio. Frisco Chamber.
Tony Felker.
Tony
Yep.
Felker.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I like it.
All right, welcome back to the Who You Know Job Networking Show, where what you know is important, but who you know makes all the
Even
difference
better.
in the search for employment, for your next success, as I like to put it. So we're back here in the studio with Foster Williams. Foster, we wanted to hear a little bit more about who you are, what you're doing, what you've done, how you can be a resource. So tell us a little bit more about Frisco Connect and some of the other things that you're involved in.
Yeah, well, Frisco Connect has been a big blessing for a lot of folks. What we intended to do originally was to be a resource for the Northeast Dallas quadrant. We got so many companies out here. We got some big giant ones that people are moving in. And of course, you guys know about the is it still $5 billion mile, or is it 7 or 8?
I think it's like 6 or 7, maybe 8. Yeah.
And so those companies need to know what's going on, where to find people, where to find the best people. Let's revolutionize talent acquisition a little bit and get a little bit closer to home with it. Make it a little bit more personal, because the world and the job search is a little bit more challenging than it used to be.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And so now, if we can have somebody to endorse where we're going, that's tremendous. I think it carries a tremendous value. We'll get corporations to check in on this stuff. So what happens in the network, more than just Frisco Connect, so the network is well over 100 groups like Frisco Connect. And
across the country, right?
Yeah, across the country. And people land jobs. And they remember who helped them along the way. You meet people along the way, much the way you and I, all of us, met.
Right.
And then if someone has an interest in that company that you already work in, you landed a job there, we've got a contact that it might turn out to be a big blessing. Mm-hmm. Give us a little bit more traction, than who you know.
Who you
There's
know.
who you know.
Who you know.
We got to think of some kind of little jingle to go with that. And so, that's probably the strongest point of our network.
Right.
It's just nobody. It's hard to find a company in Dallas-Fort Worth area now that we don't already have people working on the inside. Somebody we can say, hey, what's going on with this company? How do I go about, getting my resume, getting the black hole disappears.
I was about
Who
to
do we
say,
talk to?
I
Yeah.
mean, when people apply online, their resume goes through that applicant tracking system, and if you don't have your keywords just right, it's going in the black hole.
It will.
Yep.
And what we do on the Search for You website, guys, shameless plug. Search, SEARCH, the number 4 and the letter U, INC.com. You'll see some job postings there. Those are what we call network job postings. So let's go hypothetical. So Mark got a job at a big old company, XYZ company. I won't name a company. Well, Trevor comes along, and Trevor sees a perfect opportunity that he thinks is perfect for him at XYZ company. Trevor's a buddy of mine. I say, Trevor, I got a good buddy named Mark that works there. And you know what? He's out of our HR group, and he's over in HR, and he supports recruiting. I know I have a relationship with Mark, so I can tell you a little bit about Mark and his character, And I connect you with Mark. Mark, hey, Foster, all that kind. It's kind of the Texas good old boy, good old girl thing.
It's only the good stuff about Mark, though, right?
Yeah, it's only the good stuff. I'm not telling about those tickets and stuff. But anyway, so you make that connection. Hey, this guy is pretty cool. This Mark guy, this Trevor guy. Let's talk a little bit. Then you guys can endorse each other. You spend a little bit of time with each other.
Yep.
You can endorse each other. Hopefully, barbecue is involved.
Oh,
in
yeah.
this. You got to sit down and spend some time, And
Gotta break
people are
some
like,
bread.
we're too busy to spend time.
Got to break some bread and brisket.
Break some bread and brisket.
Bread and brisket.
That's right. You can throw a little jalapeno sausage in there if you want.
Okay,
Anyway,
yeah.
But that's what it's all about, guys. And who you learn about where you're trying to go. You learn the best way to penetrate or get in on who you need to connect
Talk
with.
to, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, you may land a job. Well, probably in the last 12 years, there's probably well north of 35,000 people that have done this thing. Not all of them landed a job because of in the network, but they came through the network at some point and learned about we are a big old family, and we try to take care of each other because we're just people. We have a lot of technology, but people still hire us and not the machine.
Right, right. It's all about relationships. One of the things that I think Mark and I and Foster, I know you do too, is try to put the human element back into the search.
Mm-hmm. It's got to be there.
Because right now, with the internet and these ATS systems and all that kind of stuff, it just separates the people. It separates the hiring managers from the job seekers, and a lot of times you have great candidates that aren't even getting looked at because it's just going in the black hole. So
right in there.
Yep.
Just the wrong place in line.
Yep.
You just got the wrong place in line.
And you spend so much time applying I mean, they talk about the average is like 45 minutes to an hour to apply for a job.
Yeah.
I mean, you spend all that time on the computer doing all that, and nobody's even looking at
Yeah, I
it.
need to make some traction behind, if they're
Right.
if they're going to desire that we do all of that.
Yeah, well, I tell people all the time, I mean, when you apply at these different companies, it's like you're planting a seed in the ground, but you need to water the seed.
Right.
Otherwise, it's not going to sprout. You need some water, and you need somebody inside the company who can vouch for you, who can
Right.
get your resume looked at, who can, talk to you and have a conversation with you and get to know you and build a relationship. And
Right.
and that's how it happens.
And along, in subsequent shows that we have, we're going to be sharing things like how to make ourselves look, how to make ourselves stick out and make sure that we are that person for that job. We have coaches like Jane. We have tools online, all sorts of people and tools to meet to help you make sense with that person that's looking to hire somebody. I mean, it's got to make sense. So you share that experience that you've had doing the same thing for another company. Hey, it might have been a competitor company.
What do you find as far as the work that you've done in this area, as far as other resources and other people here in the DFW or abroad? How willing are people to help, and who else is out there that's doing work like you're doing and that Frisco Connect and we're all trying to plug into? What other kind of resources are out there? Are they vast?
They are vast. It's strange. This is an observation I've made. Now, wherever it is, I got to get better with knowing where this stuff is, but there's a scripture that says, I will herd like sheep together. That's what God says. So what you do, you get out and find out there's this big old Frisco Connect, and there's 80 to 120 people there, and you just, maybe at the break or whatever it is, you happen to run across this dude named Trevor. And you get along with him, and he smiled. He's good looking. I don't like him anyway. And, you find out that there's some synergy there. And you want to carry on with that relationship. But Trevor knows people. Trevor knows people that work at certain companies. Then the next thing you know, you already know that you're in the job search some sort of way. And so you start talking about that thing, and I start sharing with Trevor some of the companies of interest that I have and what I do and stuff. And Trevor's like, you know what? I know this Mark guy. And there it starts. Yeah. It's as simple as that. It really is. The technology helps us, but we don't want to get too caught up in technology. We're still people.
Right.
How do you think the job seekers out there are getting landed, are getting their jobs? Do you see that people are out there getting calls from just organic applications and resumes that are out there, or is it really a testimony to the show, right? Who you know?
Yeah,
it
is a testimony to the show, but the technology is working. There are some black holes that we go into, and then all of a sudden somebody discovers us. That's why they're there. The companies have to have some way of tracking and keeping up with all this information. The second part, if you see a job posting at a certain company, you meet Jane. Jane helps you say, oh, I know somebody at that company. And by the way, maybe your resume ought to say this, or maybe it ought to say that. And then by way of that endorsement, maybe they don't have to look through that stack of 100 resumes. They don't have time to do all that anyway. And so because of that connection, that person has a distinct advantage. It carries a lot of value. Not only do you look like what you're supposed to look like for that job, you got somebody with a relationship that is endorsing you. Mm-hmm. Just saying. And it works over and over and over and over. And that's how this network has gotten so big over the years.
Now, you mentioned something like you're in a stack of hundreds or 100 resumes, and that's even for the people that have probably been picked out of the applicant tracking system.
Sometimes.
And so, that's one of the things that I've always looked at, and I've seen, I think, through my experience, is that it doesn't matter really if you're a perfect fit for the job or not. You might actually be the best candidate for the job and never get a call because you're just not at the top of the stack.
That happens
you're
all
the wrong
the time.
place in line. Mm-hmm.
It does happen all the time. And there are some tricks that we'll share on this show and subsequent shows that can help that, help the fact that we don't want to be at the bottom of the stack. when I go to work on Monday morning as a recruiter, a hiring manager comes and knocks on my door. Where's my people? And so all of a sudden you make them a priority, and you go and you do a query in the system to find folks that you can call to satisfy this hiring manager's, to give him some people to contact, and you might only have time to go through 10 resumes before something else or somebody else knocks on your door, where are my people? And, if you are that 30th resume in that stack, you feel me?
Yep.
You're not going to ever get to you.
Yeah.
So, and that's not always the case, guys, but a lot of times, more times than not, it is. So, hence, the value of the network comes again. You find something, and then you hit that network, find out somebody knows somebody.
Speaking of network, talk to us about LinkedIn, right? How important is LinkedIn for the job search?
I want to say, I can say that very strongly. If you're not on LinkedIn, you really need to consider some things. I'm not going to say, because we are people, I'm not going to say, you're not going to get a job if you're not on LinkedIn. That's not true. But it greatly, greatly enhances your ability. Our network empowers people. We don't get people jobs. We empower people to know where to go and what to do and who to talk to in order to get that right opportunity for their skill sets. And then, you can make some friends along the way. You get a chance to go to new barbecue restaurants.
That's right.
And so, that's what the network is all about. It's a people thing. The tools, the technology helps us get to a people. And we are a people.
How do you find people are, after they've been helped and they've gotten landed to their next successful position, what kind of positions or what kind of resources do you see people wanting to offer up at that point in time and pay it forward, right? That's what I think I'm curious about is the network continually growing because you got people landing? And can you talk a little bit about that?
I've got a very good analogy on that. So I share a real good barbecue place with you. And you go to that barbecue place and you taste that stuff, you're like, man, my God, this stuff is good. Foster, you were right about that. Well, first thing you're going to want to do is go share that with Jane and Trevor. And you spread that. So if you come aboard in this network and you meet some neat people that help you get a job, and you know that thing works, and man, I like this job that I found. There's some rigmarole and things that I need to learn along the way, then you want to help somebody else. So along comes Jane, and she's looking for a job at that company. Man, you're predisposed to really, you want to get out there. You're excited to help somebody else. And that is probably the 90th percentile of the people that are come through the network.
Yeah, that's what I find is in my network, kind of the secret sauce that helps.
I like that.
Yeah, the secret sauce that helps me to really help people through their search is previous job seekers. People that I met with a year ago, 2 years ago, that were, looking for employment, and now they're employed inside of a company, and now I reach out to them, and they're willing to help because I helped them.
You guys do that every week. You come to Frisco Connect, and you got all these people from Frisco. Now, Plano people can come too. And it doesn't matter where your Frisco is. Yeah, Frisco is for everybody. But these guys that I mean, I'm talking about Mark and Trevor, they work for now, is it the 65th largest company in the United States?
Yep.
Well, Trevor and Mark are not there to find people to get out and be agents. If you want to do that, of course, that's great. But it takes all sorts of professional folks to run a company, much less the size of that thing. And so you guys have the right spirit. You guys connect people with internal recruiters. Mark sent me a long, big old list of people that you guys have connected with people inside of your company to talk about those traditional jobs that we're used to. And that's the way it works. It's people.
Yeah. Yeah. We've helped many people, last year. I mean, I can't even tell you how many people that landed and going through the interview process and not just our company, but through other companies as well. I mean, I get people all the time, Toyota and Raytheon, and they're looking at these companies out there, and And we've got the connections, we've got the network, because
That's what it's about.
over time it just has naturally grown, and it's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And so we've got resources that we can provide for folks, and it's exciting.
The dynamics that we have here in Frisco, if we employ all the stuff that we're talking about, man, it really attracts people to want to come to Frisco. Anyway, they got a big old companies. Everybody's trying to move out here. What are we doing with that?
Right. How are we leveraging some of those relationships?
What type of community are we? We got big old companies with jobs. What are we doing with this stuff?
So tell us a little bit more about Frisco Connect, some of the other resources that are there. I know it's at Stonebriar Church. So, tell us where it's at, and maybe a little bit more about, I know there's a workshop there too, right?
There is a huge, it's probably easily the largest workshop for job seekers in the United States.
Wow.
It is called the Frisco Career Transition Workshop. Has been in existence for, I think, Rex Sowett, Gail Houston were the original creators of that.
Oh, Gail, yeah. Okay.
And I think 16 years we have been in existence now. We have served, don't hold me to these numbers, but probably well over 20,000 people.
Wow.
And it is a one day that covers every component of your job search. All the stuff that we're going to be talking about in subsequent future shows will be covered in one day. It is a fire hose of information.
Right.
But since we're having people there all day from 9 to about 4 in the afternoon, we feed everybody, because we can't have you sitting there hungry, because once you get hungry, it's over, Jay.
Is it barbecue?
Man, it was one time. We're still working on that. We've found some pretty neat Italian food to serve.
Is there a
Jane
cost?
likes
Is there
that.
a cost for it?
Not a cost at all. There is a handbook that Lord knows what that handbook is worth, that's given out free. It is something that you have to RSVP for, so we'll know how many handbooks to and how much food to plan for, how many handbooks to make, all of that sort of thing. It is a wonderful. That church is wonderful anyway. That's Pastor Swindoll Church, and the ministry there is tremendous. But hey, what does the church do for the community? What's happening for the community? I love this stuff.
Yeah. Where is it located again?
It's located at 4801 Legendary Drive in Frisco. Guys, it is, let me see now, that is the southwest quadrant. If you look at Lebanon and Preston as a cross there, in the southwest corner of that, what do you call those things? Quadrant. Southwest quadrant over there is where you'll find. You can't miss the church. It's huge.
Stonebriar Community.
Stonebriar Community Church, guys. We are there every first and third Tuesday at 9 in the morning of every Tuesday that there is. We're there. And you guys are there.
Yep.
I'll look up and see you guys every Tuesday.
You can come out and see us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that, listeners, if you're tuning in and you're listening, and welcome to the first show, but we're going to have a ton of resources. We're going to have subject matter experts come in. Jane is going to talk here in just a short while.
Yes.
Jane Ryan is our subject matter expert and guest speaker for today. But there will be just a wealth of resources and information for you to be able to gather here. We love that you've joined us today and that you're here, and hope that you're blessed as we hear more about the who prospect of job searching and how to network and connect and plug in. So
we're headed back to hear a word from our sponsors. So when we return, we're going to be hearing from our special guest, leadership and transformation and career coach Jane Ryan.
Absolutely, probably the best coach that I've observed in my. I don't want to tell you how many years I've been doing this stuff. Lots of them.
Well, we know that, this is definitely a blessing, and we're looking forward to hearing more from you, Jane. So talk soon.
Can't wait to speak about it.
There we go. All right. Well, again, so Facebook Live, viewers, if you are joining with us and watching, welcome. Thank you for viewing our first inaugural kickoff of the Who You Know Job Networking Show.
Let us know how we're doing.
Yeah. Be sure to comment.
Please comment. Yeah.
Hopefully like it, but I know there's a ton of different reactions or emotions, I think they call them, that you can pick on Facebook. So be sure
nice.
be sure to interact with us there.
Little
Also, be sure to, if you're connected with us on LinkedIn or either way, if you're on LinkedIn, be sure to look up the Who You Know Job Networking Show group on LinkedIn and make sure you put a request in to join that. Link in with us, Foster
Please.
Williams, Mark Elder, Trevor Houston, Jane Ryan. We would love to be part of your network, for you to be part of ours, and hopefully we can be a resource to you
Get
there.
a chance to meet you. Yeah.
Yeah, and if there are any ideas for the show that you might want to hear about,
Absolutely.
anything,
Topics
anything,
or
you want
anything.
to hear about resumes, or you want to hear anything you want to know, just comment below. We'd love to hear your ideas. And
I'm still waiting for that the name of the barbecue place that you were talking about.
I got about 3 of them.
That was just an example. That was so.
Because we're going to lunch after this. Y'all
all right.
understand that.
oh, I'm hungry. I can eat.
Hey, we got to eat to live, and then we can't get a job if we're not functioning, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, this is great. This is a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. It does go quick, too.
It goes quick.
Yeah, that's good. I'm sure you guys are already tired of us out there.
No, I was thinking 20 minutes. He said 2020, and I was like, 20 is a long time. Seems like a long time, but that went by like that.
Yep.
Jane and all the people tell me I talk too much anyway, so their time was went by.
You got a good radio voice.
Do I?
Yeah.
I can't. Oh, I don't like my voice.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
think
glad
any of
you
us
guys do.
I don't think any of us, there's
Mark,
probably
you
not
got a
many
good
people.
voice.
No, there's
You and
a lot of
Trevor
people
both.
who don't like their own voice. I don't like the way I sound when I hear myself recorded. I'm talking deeper right now. Trying to talk deeper right now.
Trying to talk deeper.
I know we got to bring our big boy voice.
It's usually high pitched.
So our listeners can't hear us right now.
Oh, no, they can't.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, we're live on Facebook.
Facebook Live.
I'm about to get real live on it.
Well, we're gonna bring a camera too. I've got one of those 360 Samsung 360 cameras. And we can set it up in the middle of the table here on a tripod, and it'll record. And when viewers are watching the video, they can scan around and look at everybody.
Whoever's talking, it'll pan.
You can pan over to who's talking and get a view of the room. 360 kind of panoramic scanner view.
Inside
That'd
the
be cool.
studio.
Inside the studio.
Yeah.
What's really happening?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, this is fun.
This is fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because we know that it's intended to help people. Now,
Yeah.
if people take it and they do something with it, they'll see traction.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yep. And then eventually we're going to... Oh,
Nice.
there it came back on.
Play some Biggie.
Big Papa.
Big Papa.
Big Papa. Remember that
Got the
wrestler,
rejoin.
Big Papa Pump? Do you remember that guy? The wrestler? Can't remember who
him.
he was.
I know Andre the Giant passed away, didn't he?
Yeah.
The Big Show is still with us.
Yep.
They got some monsters.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, those guys are huge.
This is Jane's subject matter expert, wrestling. Big difference between wrestling
Here we
and
go.
wrestling.
All right, and welcome back to the Who You Know Job Networking Show. We're here in the studio with career coach Jane Ryan now. Jane's going to share with us a little bit more. Tell us a little bit more about Jane Ryan and Associates and the work that you're doing to coach and help folks in the career transition space.
My pleasure. Jane Ryan Associates. So I formed that formally back in 2013. And before that, I started in 2007. So I think just to give you a little background, I was in HR consulting for 2 major global consulting firms for 23 years.
Back in my neck of the woods, I remember you saying.
Up there in
Chicagoland, yeah.
So I, and I loved what I did. And not unlike others that are in career transition right now today that find themselves, they put in a full career somewhere and then find themselves outplaced. Thank God I wasn't laid off for any reason. It was or a downsizing like it's happening in 2007 and today even. But I did go through all the emotions that humans go through when we're told that, there's life change. We're going to have to make a change.
Right.
And at the time, I was really excited about it because I wanted to, just reassess who I was and what was it I was really good at and what did I do really well in my career in the past, but what can I do now going into the future and that's more meaningful. And so I did a lot of just reflective thinking and critically thinking about what all those things were. And I realized that my passion was truly working one-on-one or small groups, but a lot of my consulting had to do with behavioral change in the organizations, had to do with leadership development, and also, though, I just got to meet so many people from folks working on blue collar, working on the pipeline to, the board of directors, and lots of experience. So I wanted to be able to do something with that. And I tried a few things, tried a few different jobs and places, and it just wasn't the same. I couldn't find my mojo. I
got to go through the stuff to get there.
Yeah, it wasn't a good feeling. But so for me, I realized having my own. Actually, I was going to have my own private practice, and then realized I was a little bit older, and I was a single mom, and I was helping my daughter go through medical school, and I also decided as part of my transformation, I was going back to school, so finished my master's and into my doctoral, and I chose psychology because it was all about people and emotions and behavioral change and stuff, and so I was able to leverage everything I did in the past, but do it in a more meaningful way, and ultimately making a difference in individuals' lives, but also I do work for corporations, too, in organizations where I go in and do executive coaching and leadership development and things like that. But most of my work is for individuals. And what happened was when I really decided in 2007 to get serious about do this, like, full-time, start my own business. I mean, I already started it, but I'm saying be serious about it.
Sure.
Because I'd always chicken out.
Sink or swim.
I'd be doing it, and then I'd say, no, I need money, and I'd just go get a job, just go get a job. And then, but in 2007, I said, no, I don't care what happens, I'm just going to do it. Well, shortly thereafter, the whole economy tanked. That probably wasn't, in hindsight, I don't know if that was a good idea.
Well, maybe that's when you were most needed, right?
Well,
It was.
But, back then I didn't know I was going to go into career coaching.
Okay.
But that is a big reason of why most of my business today is in career. I call it career transformation. It's life and career transformation coaching because the only places I could get work were with the outplacement firms that brought me in. And literally, I wrote resumes and coached workshops and coached individuals to thousands and thousands of people from 2007 until it's kind of started to taper off. It lasted a good.
It lasted a while.
Run. It was a good run. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I was busier than I ever was, so I got a lot of experience there as well.
Talk to us about the workshops. Tell us about that. Do you offer workshops here in the area? And
I do. I found myself, and Foster asked me to come speak, actually lead a workshop at one of the career search networks in, it was it the HR group?
It's the HR group.
In South Lake, right?
Yep.
2008.
It made sense for you to come visit us
Yeah, it did.
because of who we are in HR and that whole thing.
Did you know each other already, or?
We met probably 11
Barely.
years ago.
Yeah, but
There was a
didn't
company.
really.
Yeah, there was a company that wanted us to lead
Oh,
each
yeah, yeah.
department of it, and that's how we met.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So then I got asked to do a workshop there, and I remember the first workshop. I labeled it "You're Not Crazy," and
I like that.
And it was because it really talked about truly the emotions that we go through when we're first told that we're laid off, and it's normal. You know, that we go through the stages of grief, and so people could relate to that. But, you know, a lot of times you don't know, and you think, you know, and a lot of times if people don't know who to go to, who to talk to, they can get lost. And so I did a whole workshop on that. And, of course, the foundation of all of my coaching and the coaching methodology that I coach from is around emotional intelligence. And so it just, I've found over the years, working with folks that are in career transition from, you know, CEOs to, again, could be an admin even.
Mm-hmm.
you
Secretaries
know?
to CEOs, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then I work with soldiers transitioning from
Oh, that's awesome. That's great.
military into the civilian, and also students that are graduating college and
Freshies.
wanting to come into the workforce, or even graduating high school and wanting to go figure out what they want to do with their lives into college. So there's a whole mix there. I get a whole mix.
That's great. I have to thank you for working with veterans. I'm a veteran myself. And,
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we've got a good friend, Melissa Walker, who runs
Yeah.
Next
Yeah,
Career,
Yep.
she's a
and which is
veteran.
focused on helping there's such a huge need for veterans and getting them help and resources, and especially the transition, like you said, emotional intelligence, making that jump from military to civilian life.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Mark, thank
thank
you
you.
for your service, man.
Oh,
My
yeah.
dad fought Hitler, so I'm into that veteran.
Well, I did my 4 and done, but you know, it was a great experience.
Yeah.
And so, but that's I'm very appreciative of, you know, people that are helping veterans.
Well,
and
hopefully this
sensitive to
show,
that.
too, will help reach. I think one of the cool things about the radio show that you're having is the reach is further. You can reach more people.
Right.
And that's what's important, is that there's so many people that are unemployed and need to get back to work and don't know how.
Don't know
so having a resource like this is awesome to be able to do that. I work with many people. I do workshops. Today it's evolved into all emotional intelligence based, but around, like this morning I spoke at St. Jude's on emotional intelligence and career transition, and what is emotional intelligence, why should you care, what is it going to do for me, and how it all boils down to our ability to communicate our value. We have to first understand what our value is. We have
Yep.
to. So I help through assessments and whatnot, my clients, and through the workshops that I do through different career search groups, is to people to understand, okay, what's that next? What do I want to be when I grow up? You know, what do I do next? And help them define what that is. Because today, especially after years in a career, you find yourself wanting to do something more meaningful.
Right.
And you want to
Yeah.
do something where you can thrive, not just survive,
Right.
not just be there. Because that's what I did. You know, you might have done that before.
Yeah,
you know?
we already cut our teeth.
So it's time to do something meaningful, and that's what I help people do, and very measurably.
Yeah, there's a lot of people out there that just kind of work their job
Yeah.
and go home at the end of the day, and
Yeah, I call it the hamster wheel.
yeah,
You know,
Yeah.
you get on that hamster wheel and
Yep.
you just go and
in
go
the
and
rat
go.
race.
The race.
Right.
Yep.
Everything that Jane does is measurable. That's what I like. You know, you can get out there and find out, hey, how's this affecting? You know, what are we doing? And Jane helps folks do that.
That's fantastic. I like that finding your value or your self-worth, because at a perfect example today, I had a conversation with a lady who's in transition and looking for her next success, and she's coming from the mortgage industry, and her statement was, you know, I don't want to stay in the mortgage industry. I want to get out of there. What else? I want to look at what else I can do. My skills are transferable.
Right.
What can I do?
But where can I transfer them?
That's right.
Yeah.
Right. And then we all know that so I think the important thing I find with my coaching, it is measurable. My clients, whatever we set out to do, we achieve. And that in itself helps to raise self-esteem. When you set out to do something that's going to be exciting, that you've identified your new career, you have a you have everything you need to start taking yourself to market. And that means, first I have to know who I am. I have to have that self-awareness, right? I have to do that intrinsic, critical self-reflection and figure out what am I really, really good at, and why am I good at that, and why do I love doing that? And then being able to then say, okay, where can I leverage that? And so through these 3 assessments I use and the profile I build, it'll tell them exactly that. I can tell them exactly why they're good at something and where they can leverage that into the next career. And then we build all their collateral. So then it means, first of all, then we have to find, your targeted industries, targeted jobs, targeted people in those companies that you're all talking about. Is like who you know, right? Those people who would be the hiring managers. Excuse me. Who do you know and who do you need to know? And then you build a plan to network, go to these workshops, find out who knows who, use LinkedIn. LinkedIn's a tool in your toolbox. It's an awesome tool that you can leverage to meet people that can help you get in, help you first learn about that organization, because companies are interviewing you but you're interviewing them as well. You want to make sure it's a
two-way street.
It is, and so many times we're just like, I got to get a job,
right?
I got to get a job, and that's okay. I've been there, I know what it's like when you made money and now you have none.
Yeah.
And you panic, but the more you focus, the more you strengthen your emotional intelligence, which helps you focus, then you can work the plan.
Well, I love what you do, because sounds like you're kind of helping people find their purpose and their calling. God gave us all talents and gifts, and it sounds like you're helping people really focus on what those are, where their strengths are, and where they need to go.
Yeah, I do. And I love doing it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
The best coaches and people out there that help are people that care. We are so trained in the United States. We're scripted. There's a way to do everything. But at some point, you got to get somebody that cares about what Trevor's looking for. Trevor's a good guy. I want to introduce Trevor to all these people. Man, we form a relationship. Y'all knew I was going to say that, didn't you?
So it's important to know where you can go. And,
That's right.
And I do love working with my clients. If I work myself out of a coaching job, then I've done my job. That's reward to me. Knowing that I've helped someone achieve their goals, at least their short-term goals, is very rewarding. And I work with my clients. Everybody's different, so every program is a bit customized and different. But many times I'll work with them when they're out of work. I'll help them figure out what it is they want to do. I'll help them land. Plus, I think something else I do is I leverage my network. I've built a network of over 8,500 in LinkedIn alone, and I use Twitter, and I use a little bit of Facebook, and a few of the others. And then the human touch network is huge too, because I worked with Fortune 50, Fortune 500 companies throughout my career, and I stayed in touch with those people. So some retired, yes, but they still know people, and some people still work there. So I tap my network and help them get in, but then I coach them on their first 90 days. So the first 90 days are really important.
Once they've gotten started.
Because that's the most critical, where you have to set the first impression. You have to have a strong first impression. And you have to be able to navigate all the people, all the relationships, all the personalities, right? You have to be able to navigate to do that to get your job done.
Well, speaking of navigating, tell us how we can find you.
Okay.
How can we reach Jane?
You can reach me on LinkedIn, and you would find me at Jane Loya, Loya Ryan. That's the easiest way to find me in Texas. And my website's www.jane, Jane, Ryan, Ryan, associates, which is plural.com. And you can call me, 214-500-7223.
Oh, there you go. Your phone's going to be ringing off the hook now.
Well, my clients know they can reach me literally. If they need me 3 o'clock in the morning, they can text me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I'm out on that 3, y'all.
You can also reach the Who You Know show here. We have an email you can reach us. It's whoyouknowshow@gmail.com. So if you have any leads, job leads, or anything you'd like to know or see or hear on the show, let us know. We'd love to be a resource for you. If you haven't already, please join our Facebook and LinkedIn group pages and comment if you have any questions, ideas, or if there's someone that you know that you feel like should hear this information, please tag and share and just get the information out there. We're really trying to make a big impact here in the community. So I think it's about time for us to get out of here. I think
we're getting ready to wrap up. This hour went real quick.
Yeah,
it did.
Real
Holy
quick.
smoke.
Yep, it's the power hour.
Yeah,
it is.
yeah. I'm interested to see the comments to see how we did. I was telling people it was going to be a train wreck. So I'm anticipating.
It was a fun wreck.
No train wreck.
Hey, I was plan for the worst, hope for the best, right? So,
well, everybody,
hopefully we did good, and y'all got some good information and resources out of this.
In the future, I'm sure we're going to have call-in, so you guys will be able to ask your questions and stuff.
Yep,
Absolutely.
absolutely. And everybody have a blessed day, and we'll see you next Wednesday at 12 p.m.
Right in the middle.
Right in the middle of the day.
Right smack dab in the middle.
You get some lunch.
Listen and lunch. Yep.
Listen and lunch.
Yep. To the Who You Know show.
Who You Know Job Networking Show.
Ooh, that's right.
Yep.
That's right. So you guys, God bless everybody out there. Now, make sure and be prayerful in your job search. Just try it. Just try it out. There's nothing to lose.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Y'all have a great day.
Have a good one.
Cue music.
All right.
You guys feel
Did we
that?
cover what we wanted?
Did you guys feel that?
Yeah.
Did we cover okay?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think it went well.
No train wreck.
No train wreck.
Wow.
We were on the rails the whole time, weren't we?
rails.
Yeah.
And there's only 2 or 3 mentions of barbecue, so.
Are you meeting next week, did you say, with the Wednesday? I thought it was every month.
Every week.
Hey, I don't know if your mic's off. You might want to push it away from your face.
Every week you're doing
I
this.
don't know if we're still Facebook Live in it or what.
I think we
Oh, so I kept thinking it was once a month, but it's every week.